Hello. Here we are, live at 5, Kenya time. Well, it's about 3 o'clock in Morocco, 2 p.m. Ghana time, 6 p.m. in Dubai, and 7:30 p.m. in India, 10 a.m. New York, 7 a.m. in California. Every Wednesday, every week. Hello. This is Queen Mother Speaks, and I am your host, Ella Dashalaba King. Welcome to Wonderful Wednesday, and we have a great show for you today. We're in the fourth episode. Okay, we're in the 13th season and episode 4. And our theme is Courage is the secret sauce that allows you to act despite your fears. All right, we like to give shout outs to Solo and Geneva, Sosu, Kathy King, Rosemary Johnson, Marilyn Lewis from Florida. We like you to know that both Nana and Coach Ra are to be in the house today, and Nana's not on screen at the moment, so we'll just keep going.
Mercy.
I invite you to hit that like, share, and comment button, okay, for the Queen Mother Speak Show. Hello to all of our viewing audience, and I invite you to get relaxed and get ready for this awesome show. Again, hit the like, share, comment button. Blessings to all of our faithful fans, Chantel, Bobby Paul, Lucy, Maurice out of Kenya, Tali tuning in from Israel, Haverly Prince, Reverend Virginia, Pastor Michael, and Flora Giles are tuning in with us today from Birmingham, Alabama. Thank you for tuning in. So we're going to go right ahead and bring our guest into the studio today. Our guest, okay, you want to put your camera on, Annabelle? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This is our guest in the studio today. Will you give them your name? We're going to introduce you a little later in the show, but just give them your name and give shout outs to some of your viewers.
Thank you, Queen. Thank you, Queen Mother, for the invitation. And my name is Annabelle Dishura, your to-go psychologist, counseling psychologist. And I'd like to give a shout out to Margaret, all the way in the UK, and to Marion, watching from Kenya, our family. So, and to all of you, welcome. Let's enjoy the ride. Thank you.
All right, and thank you too, my dear. Okay, so Nana is coming into the studio now, so we'll bring her in. All right, and she can get a chance to say hello. Our first guest just
Good
introduced
morning.
herself, who is Annabelle. We are expecting another young lady in the studio, but I have not heard from her.
She's
So
on her way
let's
in.
see who she'll be in. Okay. Oh, there she is. Okay. Well, let me tell her she's got to connect her device before she can come into the studio. That is Roselyne.
Got it. Well, while she's doing that, I am Nana Afua Adezawa the First. Greetings. I am glad to be with you today. Hello to all our faithful fans out in Atlanta, Lady Mo, and to Tina, Ernestine, Marie, High Priestess Shashat, Sass, Melissa, Kemp, Carmen, Michelle. You can tune in right now. Just click on facebook.com, Queen Mother Speaks, or facebook.com, author Teresa Kemp. Please be sure to hit that like, share, and comment button. Excuse me. I'm in Ohio and it's cold here and I'm a bit congested. Our guest highlights is QMS new segment on tech savvy insights and development strategists. So we are trying to get that for you today. But if not, we're going to put it on Facebook, QMS Facebook, and my author page, Teresa R. Kemp, so that you can hear from Dennis, who's bringing our new tech-savvy insights to QMS. So we are really excited for our show today, and we wanted to say happy birthday to Coach Ra's mother. She turned 89, and we shot a video segment for her this past week. She's in Pennsylvania, and she told us all about her life coming from Panama to the United States, not with English not being her first language, and the courage that it took to come with small children and later bring her entire family over for financial opportunities and their education. So it was so much better here in the United States, the opportunities. And believe it or not, she ended up working for the New York Stock Exchange, becoming a world traveler when her children were grown and gone and empty nesting. So it was a statement in courage to all of us who have tough decisions to make on whether to move for a better opportunity or whether to stay where we are, even though it's uncomfortable. So from time to time, we try to bring you segments of women of courage and valor who made tough decisions, and they're elders now, and they let us know how it turned out, because you might be in that situation today. So let us remember to pray for peace. There are conflicts. There's over 21 conflicts going on, even though right now Israel is in the news. Let us pray for all of the people everywhere whose families are being torn apart, separated for whatever reason, and for those who are ill. We want to make sure you know that you're not alone. So Queen Mother, back to you.
All right. Thank you very, very much for that. Nana, we was just putting a statement on the board. We have Jennifer, who's with us out of Florida. Thank you for tuning in to the Queen Mother Speak Show, and we love you. And thank you for tuning in to the show. We want to invite each of you to continue to wash your hands. Okay, please continue to wash your hands and keep yourself safe and be alert. And we thank you for tuning in again to this station. It's a safe place for inspiration and expression. We want to tell you about Bonga Dada Bonga, a new platform, which, well, it's not a new platform. It's been around for about a year now. They are on break, but we're reviving it and we will be bringing it back. So look to hear about Bonga Dada Bonga. Hello to the Honorable Margaret Tolley, Shreya, Rose Umwara, Anju, Jay Mwangi, Parita, Rose Okalo, Maurice Abuya, and Estelle. These are all some of our friends out of Nairobi, Kenya, tuning into the Queen Mother Speak Show. So what is the Queen Mother Speak Show? Well, it's a community platform for wealthy conversations that matter. We do commentary and insights to raise awareness, to inform, to advise, to inspire, to ignite. We want to enlighten you on the Queen Mother Speak Show. We want you to even laugh. We give you updates on expatriating to Africa. We do words on newsworthy events, and we do warm, witty dialogue with our guests like we will be doing today. Okay, so now from the Art of Living Institute, we had an online breathing session. This was back during pandemic, and we learned so much from the breathing session until we have now incorporated breath work into the Queen Mother Speak Show. Let's take a moment and just give a shout out to some of the people tuning into the show today. Okay, there we go. All right, so we're going to get ready now to do our breath work. And the way that works is like this. We breathe in to the count of 6. We hold it to the count of 6. And then we release to the count of 10. Breathe in to the count of 6. Hold. And then release. Okay, are we ready? And that includes the people in the studio. Please, let's do this together. We're ready now. Okay, breathe in. Okay, we're going to do another one. You can choose to open or close your eyes, whatever's most comfortable for you. Number 2, here we go. Breathe in. Okay, here's our last one. Breathe in. Thank you for those in the studio and those of you tuning in for breathing. You know, breath is life. And one of the things that I've learned about breathing is that it can really help you reduce stress. There's so many different ways of breathing. We just do a simple breathing here on the Queen Mother Speak Show. But as we bring in our facilitators from the Life of Living Institute, they teach us different types of breathing for different reasons. They even did breathing exercises and breath work to help people even during the pandemic. So I hope that you got a chance to touch your inner peace. So right now, we're going to go to our meditation moment, okay? And I'm going to repeat the topic 3 times, and I want you to listen with your heart. The best is yet to come. The best is yet to come. The best is yet to come. Start your day expecting the best. Do you start your day out like that? We're asking you to start your day expecting the best. We want the best for our children, for our spouse, the loved ones, our families, and our friends. But are we also expecting the best for ourselves? Are you? Claim your best. Claim your best day yet. Expect to have great and wonderful experiences to happen to you this day and look the part. Look and act your best today. Raise the frequency of your own life, expecting to receive more joy, more happiness, more money, better relationships, and yes, more love. Be the magnet that draws the power to you. Be the magnet of grace, health, and prosperity and abundance in your direction and for your empowerment and for your life. I am expecting great things to happen to me. I will not restrict how my day will flow. I will, however, I'm going to expect the best experiences to come to me. I think with a non resistant attitude, knowing that my greatest blessing may come today. I live my best life today. Thank you, Zeal, in me, through me, as me, around me, through the Christ within, and so it is. Our scripture for today is, "This is the day which the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it." That's Psalm 118:24. So the spiritual faculty for October is zeal. Zeal is enthusiasm, enthusiasm, enthusiasm for life. And you know, you can have enthusiasm with your projects. I got enthusiasm as I was making my different meals, doing my 21-day detox cleanse. Okay, so enthusiasm is what the month of October is about, inviting you to be excited about things that's happening in your life. Okay, um, so right now we're going to go to Nana, and she's going to give us some headlines for today's show. Nana?
Yes. So we are excited to tell you about Africa's Next Supermodel Show has come to Kenya, Nairobi, Kenya, this Saturday, the 28th of October at the Radisson Blu Hotel, red carpet, 4 p.m. The models are all young men and women from refugee camps whose hopes for a future are coming alive. So Africa's Next Top Supermodel Show this Saturday, October 28th at the Radisson Blu red carpet starts at 4. Call for more info And let me get this up for you really quick, because we'd like for you also to see their amazing flyer that they had going on. I'm going to put the information here on the screen for you. There we go. So that you could get the phone number. And that's in Nairobi, Kenya, 071-905-1560. So let me show you their gorgeous flyer. It is amazing. And I need to take the other one down to make it more clear. There you go. So as you can see, it is so Afrocentric. I love it. You see the pictures of the young men and women whose hopes are becoming Africa's next top supermodel.
And let me say that where these models come from, first off, Miss Joan, who is the founder of Africa's Next Supermodel, was a model herself as a young woman in the day. And she decided that what she wanted to do in life was to empower women. And somehow she wound up being in a refugee camp one summer doing some volunteer work. And that's where she found her passion. So the young women and men who wind up being a part of Africa's Next Top Model are from refugee camps around the continent. So we wish her well in her pursuit with the young women, and it's a fabulous show. Queen Mother intends to be there. And call that number. They still have tickets available where you can come. If you talk nice enough, you may just be able to get in the door with a VIP invite. So we're going to invite you to go ahead and try that number, 0717-901-560. Okay, Nana.
So, Mental Illness Awareness Week. During the first week of October, October 1st through the 7th, millions and millions of people were living with mental health conditions globally. And even though we've passed that, it is never a bad time to talk about mental illness, because it affects everyone directly or indirectly through family, friends, neighbors, and coworkers. So at QMS, we decided to raise the awareness about mental health and provide support and treatment options for mental health conditions worldwide. This will be covered by our guest, Annabelle, in a moment. And right now, we want to speak on Depression Awareness Month, also to help increase the general population's knowledge and understanding of depression and some other mental health conditions. During the month, different organizations host live and online events. Check your social media, use the tags like a hashtag depression, hashtag addiction, hashtag grief, hashtag whatever it is you are going through, and follow them, like them, share this to promote awareness. Depression is a common health condition and concern in America and throughout the world. It is a major concern. Far more than that, feeling sad, depression negatively impacts how a person feels, thinks, and acts, or more importantly, doesn't act. It can cause disruption to school, to work, and personal interests. Misconceptions, misunderstandings of depression continue to contribute to stigmas about people living with this condition and the reason it occurs and their willingness to seek care. You have to make it okay for your loved ones to be able to talk to you and tell you that they're not okay. And you can't say, well, just cheer up. So we invite you to Google Depression Awareness Month and raise your specific understanding and knowledge of depression today. So now Annabelle, our guest, will be coming into the studio. She's a counseling psychologist, women empowerment enthusiast, life coach, corporate trainer, youth mentor. Annabelle Gichiri is the founder of Bella Minds International, a counseling psychologist working with children, teen, and corporate entities, a mental wellness coach and ambassador. Let us all please give a very warm welcome to Annabelle and our other guest, also Roselyne, is in the studio with us.
Well,
So,
before Annabelle comes on, let's just take a moment and introduce our guest. She's now come into the studio. So let's
okay.
introduce her right now. There she is.
Hey,
You want to say
good
hello?
morning.
Yes, I would. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening to everyone, wherever you're tuning in from. It's really a pleasure to be here. My name is Roselyne Olewe, and it's nice to see Annabelle. I know Annabelle from the Kenya circles.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow, small world.
Wonderful.
very much.
Wonderful. Okay. So thank you. We're going to be hearing from Roselyne before the show is over. But right now, back to you, Lady Annabelle.
Awesome. Thank you for having me, and I am glad to see Roselyne. The goodness with the mental health family in Kenya, when you're working in your path, it's very easy to become an ambassador in your line of duty. And mental health, I love Queen Mother, what Queen Mother says, be the magnet. So, and something interesting about a magnet is a magnet attracts. So my question to each one of us listening is, how are you attracting mental wellness in your sphere of influence? We all have spheres of influence. It could be the family, the community. And I being I'm a child psychologist by profession, so I work with children and parents. And when the goal of being a magnet is you are able to attract. And if you're able to attract, are you leaving a smile to whoever, the person you are attracting or the environment you're attracting? So the smile is shine my inner light everywhere. So I want all of us in your own capacity. When you're told have the self-talks, are you smiling all the way to your mental wellness journey? Smile is shine my inner light everywhere. So anyone you attached to, anyone you're working with, that should be the end goal. So mental health, mental wellness. In my capacity, I have developed a culture when it comes to mental health. And when it comes, it's called the hey culture. We have this tendency of saying, hey, how are you? How was your day? You say hey. So the hey is H-E-N-Y. So the H is healing, the E is evolving, and the Y is yielding. So in the morning when you're saying to your child, hey, how was your night? In the evening when you're saying to your child, hey, how was your day at school? When you're saying to your spouse, hey, that hey is healing, evolving, and yielding. So let's break it down. So healing is as a woman, you're a colleague, you're a sister, you're a mom, you're a daughter. How are you contributing to the healing of your family, to the healing of your colleagues, in your community, in your area of sphere? How are you contributing to that? And so healing, so anytime we have unresolved mental health challenges, probably from your childhood, that is what we call childhood traumas, which leads to PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder. We also have post-traumatic growth. So that means if someone has healed from the mental health challenges, and they are able now to create positive energy from what they went through. Because life has different chapters, we all agree, because we are writing a book, and a book has chapter 1, others have to chapter 10, others have to chapter 20, others have to chapter 9. So you're writing your own book. So the book you're writing, the different chapters have different experiences. So the question I would also ask you is, are you healing from the experiences? Are they making you a better person, or are they making you Are they making you stuck? Because you can get stuck from your experiences. And now that leads to we are going to lack emotional well-being, and that now leads you get stuck, and now also it affects your mental health. So that is the first part of healing. So because this is a culture, we know a culture it's generational. So the hey culture is generational. So if it is in your family, what are you doing about it? If you're a parent and you've gone through childhood trauma, you've not resolved from it, you've not healed. So are you going through the journey of healing, yourself? So are you going through counseling? Are you going through therapy? Are you joining communities that are appreciating mental wellness? So that you're able also to support your children in creating their hey culture. So you're able to create a trauma-free culture or a mental wellness toolkit in your family. The same happens to you as a colleague, to you as a boss. So are you healing? So the question I would ask all of us here is, what are you doing to heal? And what help do you need? What help do you need in creating the healing culture? Then we have the evolving. So the moment you have healed, you're able to evolve. Evolving means you're growing. It means you're growing in capacity. You're growing in capacity as a parent, as a professional. And so that means you're able to yield, you're able to be productive in the society, in the community. And I extend this to you as I'm saying, hey, how are you doing when it comes to mental wellness culture in your capacity? And, so we have backup. I always say, don't back up at your mental wellness journey, but you should back up your mental wellness journey. So we have the first backup is, don't move backwards when it comes to your mental health journey. So what are you doing every day? Do you have a culture? Have you created a culture whereby you're able to take care of your wellness, of your mental wellness journey every day? Do you have a self-care routine for yourself? Do you have a self-care routine or a family care routine for your family? How do you shield yourself from the toxicity of the world? We have a lot of toxicity in the world, and you have the option to choose what doesn't come to your space, and that can only begin from having that self-care toolkit for yourself, and also creating that for your family, so that you're able to work it out with your children. And we have two types of stress. We have eustress and we have distress. So eustress is positive stress. So positive stress helps you to become a better person, or it's adding value to you as a holistic person. Distress has a negative result. So distress that is unresolved and is prolonged, that is what ends up to be depression. And you can never diagnose yourself from depression. I find people saying, I think I'm depressed. The same way you can't diagnose yourself of diabetes, malaria, you have to go to a professional, and you go through assessment, you go through tests, and they actually confirm it, the diagnosis. It's the same thing for depression. So if you feel like you're stressed, and how do you know you're stressed? Now, the beauty of all this is, if you have a self-care routine, or if you have a daily conversation with yourself, you know yourself when you're getting stressed. So when you're getting stressed, it starts mentally, emotionally, you're holistic. We have a wheel of life. So the wheel of life, it means you're able to be productive in your different spheres as a person. So when you get burnout, or when you're not able to handle the stress, the daily stress, then that is a red flag that you're not able to be productive. And that is how you actually measure. You're no longer motivated by what used to, you're not motivated by what used to motivate you. Like, for example, I love working with children anytime. Give me a call now. Tomorrow, can you come and talk to my kids? I'm in for it. So anything, I love working out, I love swimming. So if what motivates me or what used to excite me is not exciting me anymore, or I just feel it's a waste, I don't have energy for it. When that energy is not in, I always know I am hitting my stress button. So the first question I would ask you, what is your stress button? Do you know your stress button? Do you know when it is on? Do you know when it is off? So the moment you're able to understand that, even the triggers of the world, you're going to be able to regulate them from within, so that the daily stressors are also making you a better person. And making you a better person, it's not by you handling them. It's by you knowing I am not okay and I need to reach out for help. So are you at a place where you feel you need to reach out for help? Do you know when that button is on, when that button is off? Do you know this is when I need to reach out to my therapist? So that is one way of creating a mental wellness culture in your life and creating your hey culture in the morning. Just wake up and say, hey, my name is Annabelle. Hey, Annabelle, how are you today? What are you looking forward to? What do you feel you didn't do? You didn't do well yesterday and you need a boost today. Having those positive affirmations and positive talks with yourself. And in life, we all need grit. So grit is courage. Grit is another name of courage. It's courage. So you need to face anything in life with the mindset of grit. So the grit is GRIT. So the first G is growth mindset. You can have a growth mindset or a fixed mindset. A fixed mindset is, I have fallen, I am already down, nothing can be done about it. I am depressed, other people don't want to listen to my problems. That is a fixed mindset. And having a fixed mindset leads to you being stagnant, you're not growing. So the growth mindset is, I am not okay, I am not productive, I need to be productive, I need to have a spirit of excellence, I need to have a sound mind. And a growth mindset is, I need to reach out for help so that I am able to be productive and I'm able to be holistic in my endeavors. So then there is resilience. Life throws to us different balls. It is a game, the way you have football. So life can throw to you a bitter ball, it can throw to you a happy ball, it can throw to you a smiley ball, it can throw to you the I don't know ball. And when resilience calls for it to push forward, activates the gear of resilience by creating your I am. Don't allow the world to
We've lost
when if I'm
Annabelle's
going
feed.
through a rough patch.
There we go.
She's back now.
We had lost your feed.
You lost your feed for a minute, but it's back.
All right. Okay. So even if I've gone through a rough patch, I need to be resilient. I need to gear on. I am enough to fight and to keep fighting, and I am enough to create what I envision and what I want to see. Yeah. So the first G was growth mindset. You lost me at that. Then why I loved what you said about the magnet is the I is impressive imagination. You become who you actually think you are. So for example, I am a child psychologist, and my mantra is always creating an environment where children are able to connect with themselves and they're able to communicate with themselves. And that is what I have in my mind. So anytime I am working with a child, I ensure I am able to make them have an impressive imagination of themselves. They think for themselves as a champion. They think of themselves as the champion, and they are able to create the world they envision for themselves. And then the grit, the T is transform the world, your world from within you. So you cannot start creating a culture from the environment. You start it with yourself. So if I know that I am having a battle, I'm having an emotional battle because I went through grief, I went through loss, and I don't know how to go about it, what I need to do is I need to transform it from within. By transforming it from within, is the first thing you need to do is accept. This has happened to me. It does not mean that I'm a failure. It only means that I have to take up the task of reaching out for help. And with you reaching out for help, you're going to become a better you. You're going to become a better person, and you're also going to transform. Your story is going to be used to revolutionize your world, and then you're going to transform the world from the without. And mental health should be a culture. It is not. Most people, we act from a point of being reactive. By being reactive is when things happen. That is when you look for a psychologist. But it should be a daily routine. Make mental health a daily routine. The same way you're going to think of what to cook in the evening, the same way you're going to think what will you take for breakfast, it is the same way you need to have that routine of how will I take care of my mental health today? How will I support the people depending on me with their mental health today? And with the small steps every day, with the small routines, we are able to get to the main goal, which is having a mental wellness culture in our society. And so my parting shot would be, hey, how are you doing right now? How do you feel right now? And how will you take up the mantle of creating the hey culture in your spheres of influence? And thank you, Queen Mother, for being a hey ambassador, because this is what you're creating through your show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so thank you.
And so much. Thank you so very much, Annabelle. Geez, there's so much I want to say, but I also want to bring in our other guests. So let's do that, and then we can have some more conversation with each other after that. Okay. We're not going to bring in our tech savvy insight. We're just going to go straight to our very next guest on the show today. So, Nana, will you introduce her for us?
On mute.
Nana, we can't hear you.
All righty. Well, that was really thought-provoking, and we had a lot of comments, and we were trying to get them up, but people are reacting everywhere, Annabelle, and I wanted to mention that before bringing in Roselyne. So, whether performing her job as a business development manager, business advisor, chief of party, or marketing manager, Roselyne, most known as Roz, has carved out a 22-year niche for herself in the industry as a development strategist, managing partnership developments, program planning, project initiative implementation, no matter what the task. Well, you're among good company because she delivers. She spent some time abroad in Kenya as an expat, and we'll hear more about that story too. Roselyne is currently engaged as a business development manager with, I believe it is CIPLAR, CIPLAR, and as a steering committee member of the Talanta Matani Consortium. Prior to this, she has over 22 years experience in strategic management gained from the stellar career in marketing with the private sector players such as Unilever, Coca-Cola, Sarvova Group, as well as business development and partnership management experience from Millennium Development Goals Center and the British Council, amongst others. She is a serial entrepreneur who has started her own business in beauty and wellness industry and is currently consolidating her experience as founder of Eden Group, KE, a group of companies that seek to empower stakeholders in the public and private sector across the globe to achieve rapid progress in achievement of a universal sustainable development goals. That's a mouthful. So we'll be telling you
That's a
so much more
mouthful.
about it. Focus thematic areas, social enterprise, and creative economy with a skew towards women and youth empowerment. And that's why she and Annabelle made a great partnering goal, because someone has to focus on the economic and creating programs and what's happening with the kids today in the world. And so without further ado, let us introduce you again to Roselyne.
Okay, right. Just a little something I want to say um, about this lady.
Okay.
When I read her bio,
Yes.
right, I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, wow, wow. You know, every now and then we come across such exciting people in the world,
Right.
and she is definitely one of them. So when I read about all the different things she's done, I wanted people to hear. You know, it's one thing about what entrepreneurs are doing around the world. It
Yeah.
still amazes me that people in America and other parts of the world have no idea just how far advanced entrepreneurship and women are in some of our countries. But here's one
Absolutely.
of them right now to talk to us about it. Before we go into your illustrious history, my dear Roselyne, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from in Kenya? Do you have any family? Tell us a little bit about that.
My pleasure. And thank you so much for the lovely introduction. And it is a pleasure to be on the show. Just a slight correction that
Okay.
current my current position is chief of party with an organization where we work with persons with disabilities. But everything else, wow, just hearing it. Thank you so much for
Well,
sharing.
you said we work with people with what kind of disability?
Persons with disabilities, specifically women with disabilities, but also across the board. And it's not a specific type of disability, but any type, be it physical disability, psychosocial disorder, visual
Okay.
impaired, deaf. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And I actually met Rosalind maybe a month or so ago
yeah.
at a meeting here in Kenya. It is a organization called the Business Disability Network. And we actually got a chance to meet there. And I wanted to have her come on and talk about what she does. But then once I got the resume, we found our girlfriend does so much more. Over to you. Um, when you completed your education, and I'm assuming most of it was in Kenya,
No,
yeah? Okay, so
no.
that's my good question. As you completed your education, did you immediately start work and were you in Kenya?
Yeah. Well, thank you. So my background is quite interesting because I was born in Kenya. I'm from Kisumu, that's in the western part
Mhm.
of Kenya, just along Lake Victoria. And I'm from the Luo tribe. That's where Obama is from.
Ah,
His background is Luo. But my parents left the country quite young to go and study, and they went to the United States of America. My father went to the University of Chapel Hill to do his master's and then his PhD, and my
mhm.
mom followed. And then they went with my brother at the time, Hillary, who was an infant, and I remained behind, being raised by family. my maternal grandmother, paternal grandmother, and a dear auntie and her family raised me until the age of 4. Then I followed them. They sent for me when I was 4 years old. So I landed in Chapel Hill, North Carolina at the age of 4. My parents were there. Then we moved to South Carolina. We were in Durham. No, Durham, I think, is in North Carolina. Then we
Yeah,
moved to
Durham is
South
north.
Carolina. Then we moved to South Carolina because my father started working with the University of South Carolina in Orangeburg. So we lived in Orangeburg. And my mom was still a student. She was doing her master. She has 2 masters, one in business administration and special needs. So she has been my role model in terms of that kind of thing. So many years later, I had 2 brothers who were born there, who are American citizens. So 10 years, I was in Kenya for 10 years. I mean, sorry, in the US for 10 years, and left after the 8th grade. And we moved to Nigeria, where I did my first 2 years of high school. Which it was an amazing experience because having grown up in the US, I did not have the full understanding by then of the beauty of Africa. And as you say, just what is going on. So when we landed in Nigeria, there was just, again, a whole new world because by then I had become Americanized.
Wow.
Yeah, so Nigeria was just amazing. We went because my parents again were working with university. So they worked with the university in a place called Calabar. It's in Cross River State in Nigeria. So we were there for 2 years, and then in 1986 we came back home to Kenya. And that was just the most beautiful experience. So I joined high school. I went to a school called Loreto Convent, Valley Road. So, I hope there's some Loreto Convent, Valley Roads alumni
I got a
listening.
concept of Valley Road in Kenya.
Yeah. So it's that gave me such an amazing background, just continue to build my foundation. I was very fortunate to have always gone to schools where I got such a great foundation. I know that has been a part of building me, as well as just who my parents were. My father was a political science specialist. That's what he taught, political science. And then he eventually, when we came back to Nairobi, he was one of the founding directors of what you call the Diplomacy Institute. So they trained foreign affairs staff and people who would later become diplomats and things like that. So that's something that's on my radar that I'd like to do it, before I finally retire. But
Okay.
from Valley Road High School, I went to the University of Nairobi, and I studied Bachelor of Commerce Marketing. So that is my professional, kind of qualification. And the first job I got was with Unilever as a management trainee, straight out of campus. Way back in our day, the employers used to compete for students from the universities and from the vocational institutions. It wasn't like today where people struggled so much getting work. Provided you had basic and good education, that was way back in 1995. I graduated in 1995, and I had, I think, like 3 job offers, and it wasn't unique to me. That's how it was back in the day. Not like today where unemployment is, almost a crisis. So I was very fortunate to join an amazing organization. Most people are familiar with Unilever. They do such brands like Sunlight, Omo, Close Up, Vaseline. Most people know what Vaseline is. So
Yes, yes.
they do home and personal care products globally. So for the East Africa unit, I was employed as a management trainee and then went into brand management. And I was very fortunate to get an opportunity to work on every single personal care product in the organization throughout my career. So I worked on skincare, I worked on skin cleansing, which was the soaps. Those are soaps like Lux. I'm sure many people have heard of Lux soap. I worked on Close Up, which was a toothpaste brand.
Okay.
It's just amazing, amazing career. And the foundation of my professional world, I think, is based on what I learned at Unilever. They're just an amazing employer. So I was there for 10 years. During
Now, were
that
you
time,
working there in Kenya or in America?
in Kenya, America, I left at the age of 14 after the 8th grade.
So you were a young girl there. Okay.
Yeah, I was a child. I was a child
Okay.
in America.
Okay.
I grew up in America, a wonderful childhood, playing tennis with the local club after school, girls, guides, going skating at the skating rink. I was very active in the church choir. It was just a wonderful childhood. I really thank my parents for having blessed me and my brothers with such an amazing childhood. And we lived in very
At that
small.
young age, at that very, very, very young age, I don't know if you experienced the difference between being an African American and a African born on the continent. Did you experience any of that at that young age?
Yes, I did. There was a lot. Children can be mean. And I got a lot of teasing in school because, and it wasn't their fault. It was because of what the media shows about Africa, mostly was the droughts and poverty and all that. So in school, there was a lot of teasing by children that, oh, do you live in on a tree? Do you swing from trees? How did
Okay.
you get here? You know, how did you get to America? And
Yeah.
I'm like, what? So I went through that. And I think for me, it was even easier because I lived in till the age of 4, but my brothers, one was an infant and the other two were born there. So they didn't know anything else. But because of the family name, people knew we were Africans, they got the teasing too, and they didn't know what anyone was talking about. I was a bit old. I knew it was because it's what people saw on the media. They didn't see the skyscrapers in Africa. They didn't see the IT equivalents of Silicon Valleys. Like Nairobi has an equivalent of Silicon Valley. We are IT leaders, um, IT leaders. So they didn't get to see that in the media. All they saw was the poverty and the starvation and maybe Tarzan movies. And so that was their image of Africa. It was really,
Okay.
really, really interesting. Yeah.
Which is the same image that a lot of African Americans have also of Africa. They get to see what gets projected. It'll be
Yeah.
interesting to see what those young men say because by now, I'm pretty sure that they've been able to come home.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see their construct of America and
Yeah.
their construct of Africa then
Yeah.
as well as now.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, geez, what else do I want to ask you? Um, I, in my career at one point, worked for a few of the major branding companies like Kellogg's,
Yep.
who did the what is it, the
Cornflakes.
breakfast cereal, and they had baby foods and things like that.
Yeah.
So I learned a lot working for those major companies about products and also about people. And in today's world, we have seen how that the internet has come in, and through data analytics, we're able to
Yep.
capture so much information on people and know exactly so much about them until it's frightening
I know.
to me,
No. Yeah.
you know. Okay, so
When
then tell us, why do you
oh,
describe yourself as a serial entrepreneur?
wow. It's because it's because I have run several businesses,
Hmm.
one after the other. And my passion that's where my passion really lies. Um, okay, let me get to it from how employment shifts to entrepreneurship. So from
Okay.
Unilever, being employed for 10 years, I went to work for Coca-Cola, the Coca-Cola East and Central Business Africa unit, based in Nairobi, Kenya. And I had the opportunity at that time to work in Uganda for a period, and then I came back to Nairobi, and I was there for 2 years. after the 2 years, I actually left work because of a wellness issue, a medical issue. And that's the circles that I met Annabelle. So I had to take time out I was burnt out. So I took time
Ah.
out, yeah, to get to do my own thing. And that time, by then I had 3 young children. I was married, traveling quite a lot. The last role I held at Coca-Cola was a division advertising manager role, looking after 22 countries in Africa, in Eastern Central Africa, and I was always in the air, and balancing that with young children. For me, it just didn't work. So after 2 years, it was like, you know what? I need to do something else. So what did I do? I said I wanted to do a business that gave people a serene environment. Because when I used to be stressed out, where did this girl go? I would go to the salon, I would go to the spa, and to me, I just felt that was just it was such a serene thing. So I wanted to offer that to people. So that was the
Okay.
business um, field that I got into. So I took my money from my dues from Coca-Cola, and I set up a salon and what you call kinyozi. Kinyozi is a barbershop. So this salon and barbershop, I set it up in the Central Business District of Nairobi, prime location, set it up, started running it. And it was very satisfying. I was able to work with amazing young people. I was able to employ there's a young cousin of mine who had just come out of some what do you call it, post-election violence trauma. So he had some violence trauma around that time. It was around 2007 going into 2008. So I was able to bring
Okay.
him on, just watch him blossom, working in the salon as my manager and supporting the business. So I just started feeling that's the area I want to be in. Then business at some point became difficult, as business tends to be.
Will
So I
do.
went back to employment because I still had 3 children who needed I needed help to help their dad get them through school. So I went
Yeah.
back to employment, and that's how I got to the Sarova group. So Sarova group is a group
Oh.
of hotels. It's a group of wonderful, beautiful hotels across Kenya. So I was the group marketing manager for a very short period of time. And it was short because someone approached me from Unilever and asked me, would you like to work for an NGO? And I said, heck yeah. And they said, what's happening is Unilever is part of this public partnership working with World Economic Forum to do some work for economic empowerment. So they were seconding Unilever staff as program managers, but for time. So now when it was time for that program manager to go back to the day job at Unilever, they were now recruiting. So they're asking around, telling people, if you're interested, if you have experience, apply. So I just applied like anyone else. And by God's grace, I got the job opportunity. So that's how I got into the NGO field. And I had an amazing boss. The program, was she like the program director? Because she was an ex-Unilever chairperson, chairman. She was a gentleman who used to work in Unilever China. So you can imagine that kind of mentoring, and oh my God, it was just too crazy. So the work that I was doing was working with small scale farmers in western part of Kenya, an area called Siaya, where we were working with a consortium of various partners, providing them with financial support. That was Equity Bank. Safaricom was partnering with us. National Oil was partnering with us. It was a consortium of partners, and UNDP was supporting as well. And I got a small chance to work also with USAID, who also came on board at some point. So that's now where my interest now in this economic empowerment, because it was amazing to see people's lives changed within a matter of months through farming. Someone whose kids were not going to school because they didn't have enough money for school fees They might have been living in a house that didn't have a proper roofing, but because of
Ooh.
farming, within 2-3 seasons, they're renovating their house, putting a proper roof. Kids are being sent off to boarding school, and I was like, this is it. This is what I want to do with my life.
Okay.
Oh, so that's why I got into the space. In between that, I was still running businesses. So I continued with the salon for a period of time, and then I eventually sold it, invested in a spa, a wellness spa. So it was called Eden. Eden means a lot to me because of the biblical meaning of Eden. So I set up this amazing. I call it my some of these things you do and people just think you're crazy because
Mm.
I invest I invested my heart, my soul, my finances, borrowed from the bank, did all types of
Hey.
things, and set up this gorgeous place. Um, there was a proper spa, but it was a renovated farmhouse. So the area was serene, surrounded by greenery. It's towards Limuru,
Mm.
Kenya, which is, the red earth and the
Mm-hmm.
tree and just greenery. So, oh my goodness, I am so glad I
Mm.
did that. To me, I think that was something that if I had not done it, I would still be feeling like there's something missing. So
Okay.
I ran Eden Spa for around 3 years. And in between that, I was still working, mind you, because I still have 3 children and the
Wow.
business is bringing in. So my kids are growing. Amazing children. They're now all adults.
Okay.
But they were growing, going to primary school, then they went to secondary school. And um, from that organization with the farmers, I got an opportunity to work with a larger NGO that was regional, and I became a regional business advisor to
Okay.
um, several country business coordinators in different teams in different countries. So that also sparked in me this thing about mentoring. And I realized I get a lot of passion from mentoring, and I met amazing people. Oh my goodness. It's always about the
Mm.
and the relationships. That's what it's about. Yeah. So I've seen God. I have seen Him walk with me, and all through that time, I had seasons where I was struggling with by getting the mental wellness balance. So that also was quite a passion that I have. Because as Annabelle said, it should be a culture. It should be something that we don't wait until it gets too late. And it's really about self-care. You have to know your limits. You have to know, um, when you need to rest. And it's not as easy. I think I'm just getting into understanding myself even now, and I'm going to be 54 soon. So it's a
Mm-hmm.
lifelong journey that you just keep learning yourself and forgiving yourself and going through this journey. And it's a beautiful journey. But some of us
Mm.
struggle a bit more with mental wellness than others. So it's really interesting. Yeah, so I am so from that situation, the contract at that organization ended after a period of time because it was being funded from New York and the funding stopped. So I was out of work for a period. So I focused on the spa, and then I got a job again with British Council. So that's how I got into the
Ah.
partnerships and business development space. That was also an amazing experience. I learned so much now about the partnership development, and British Council is basically about um, being like a soft diplomacy for the UK. Um, so they do that through teaching English, and they do that through several programs. And they had just
Okay.
started entering the economic empowerment space and social enterprise space, and that's when I joined. So it was a really amazing season. So I did British Council for 3 years, and then I got an opportunity to do something in the creative industry space.
Is it okay?
Yes. So that's where Talantam Tiny comes in. Um,
Uh-huh.
um, the introduction that I received was around that space, around when I worked for CIPLA. CIPLA had to do with intellectual property rights. It was run by an intellectual property lawyer, and I met him at British Council. So when he wanted to set up, he asked me if I'd be interested in supporting, working with him, and I said I absolutely would. And he hired me to build up his business development department. So as we were doing that, the intellectual property, has to do with these non-tangible ideas that people have, and you need to like trademark it. Let me just use layman's term. So that intellectual property is around that kind of space. And the creative industry in Kenya is now where we were focusing most of our energies on. So in the course of the work we were doing, my boss at that time had a passion for young people coming up in the entertainment industry. So we set up a television show called Talanta, which means talent in the ghetto or talent in the neighborhoods, but it's talent in the ghetto. Talanta Mtaani. So it was a national television show where we would do, it was in the same format as, let me see, what's a well-known? Got Talent or X Factor. That was the format. So people would come in for auditions, and then those who made it through the auditions would be on TV at a certain level, and it was a show where we get sponsorships from various private sector, and this was all based on my experience from my private sector background, my networks, and amazing team, and we were able to be on national television, give these young people a platform. Then we decided to branch out into disability inclusion. So we had a branch of the show called Talanta Mtaani Inclusive, which was encouraging young people with disabilities to audition for this show. So that's how I got into the disability inclusion space. Are you seeing the path? It's just
well, yes. I'm loving it.
So we did Talanta Mtaani Inclusive, partnering with an organization called Science Media. Science Media is a broadcasting house which broadcasts in sign language. So we partnered with them. So we were producing the show in their studio and things like that. It was just really cool. And they were airing the show on their station. So that's how I got into the disability inclusion space. Then when COVID hit, 2019, most of the sponsors, where do they cut their money? Marketing budget. So that's where we lost sponsorship. So the show, we were struggling to produce the show every week, and reached a point we weren't able to pay ourselves and our staff. We just said, let's just keep the show on air, and we kept the show on air. But it reached a point now where we started losing people as they got other jobs or started working from home. So there was a season when I was in the house working from home, still supporting Talanta Mtaani, still supporting Talanta Mtaani Inclusive, when I saw this job advertisement on LinkedIn.
On which one?
On LinkedIn.
Oh.
And I had no idea what a chief of party was. What attracted me to the role was they were talking about economic empowerment. They were talking about agribusiness, tick. They were talking about retail, tick, I've done that. They were talking about persons with disabilities, tick, I've done that. And I was like, this seems like such a cool job. Let me just apply. Right. And that's where I'm working. Bingo. So, but in between all of that, I was consolidating my experiences, my different businesses, and I set up Eden Destiny. It's actually Eden Destiny Group, which brought together all that experience. And I was doing, I had a small team where we were doing consultancy in the spaces that were explained, around social enterprise. We did consultancy work in the area of wellness. So we did amazing stuff. We did mini conferences, and it was just really great. So it's still there. Eden Destiny Group is alive. But for now, my focus is and my loyalty is with my employer. So I'm focusing my work in disability inclusion space, and I really
Okay.
hope to retire there.
Oh, what a great life you have. Nana, come on back in, and I think Annabelle is still in the back room of the studio. Bring us all back in. If Annabelle is still there, I don't know.
Okay.
Does this lady have a there she is.
She
There
sure
she is.
does.
Let's bring
Okay.
us all in. Let's see here.
Oh, there we go. I've just been typing away here in the background and reading the wonderful comments of our viewers today. We want to thank you. There we go.
Okay, everybody's in now.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
It's really important that we begin to look for opportunities to include diverse populations, that we advocate for diverse populations, because when I hurt my leg, I had hip surgery. The elevator for people who were, well, I needed the key to the bathroom that would accommodate the wheelchair, but it was on the 3rd floor in the back. And I had to roll way down the hallway, up 2 flights of steps to get to the office to get the key for the bathroom. I went home. And at the time, there was no handicap parking. So I had to dodge traffic, park, like 10 rows away. And that day I went home. And so I've made it a point to make sure that there's a way to consider accommodations for people of all abilities. When I went to Ghana and became a Queen Mother, I went to an educational summit. I also went to one on Unilever. And I'll tell you about my experience after the show. But when I went for the educational conference, that's when I found out if you have any type of disability in Ghana, you are not accommodated in schools, and you don't get to go to school for the most part, because if they're not smooth sidewalks, so if you are in a wheelchair, you can't get there for the tree roots, or that the bridge to the school, has holes in it, so abled people just jump over the holy bridge, but you can't roll, or it's not wide enough to roll a wheelchair across. Or if you need glasses, there's no organization like the Lions Club here in America that makes sure that children get eyeglasses for free, or adults get eyeglasses for free, which is why Queen Mother did a project on where she brought 10,000 pairs of eyeglasses. And then as I got older and realized how important even reading glasses are for me, I also took 10,000 pairs of eyeglasses and did a medical mission trip in Nigeria and in Ghana. Because if you can't see or need glasses and can't afford them, or they're not available in your area, you can't see. And you're limited.
This is true.
You're limited by those options. So many children that can attend school in other countries, in some of the African countries, are not afforded the opportunity of attending school. And that's also why we did the PAD project. Queen Mother, if you want to take a minute and talk about that also, because
we will. We do the disposable sanitary pads. Now we do know that there are. I'm sorry, not disposable. We do the reusable.
Right.
We do the reusable pads, and I don't know how close my little kit is, but what we've done is we've partnered with a local group who actually make the pads, right? And young women and young men get jobs making the pads, and we buy the pads from them, and we take them and distribute them to schools in various areas. So what happens literally is when a girl is on her cycle and she missed school, she missed too many days of school, she missed too many months of school, guess what? You're out. So a lot of our young girls wound up being out of school for that reason. So we are very thrilled to be able to supply the reusable pads, and we hope that each of you will be a donator to us for the pads for the girls. But let me just go back to Annabelle for a moment. She and I have worked on numerous projects here in Kenya, okay, together. I've invited her to come work with me on some projects, and she's done some things as well. So, Annabelle, I just want to say that I'm very happy to see you today. And even though we're in the same city, I don't even get to see you. We haven't even had a cup of coffee this year, and we're already in October. Is that true? What are we going to do about that before December?
Yeah, and that is so sad.
What are we going to do about it before December?
We need to be intentional about making it happen in
So,
November.
are you saying we're going to make it happen? I'm in.
Awesome. We'll plan
Okay.
and we'll plan and we are gonna meet. We are going to meet.
Yes, we will. And you know, Queen Mother likes to do a holiday party for youth. So we'll talk about that. I don't know where we're going to do it yet. I don't know how many youth are going to be involved, but we want to do a holiday party for youth. Let me just go ahead and re-mention to you that on Saturday, the 28th of October, is the Africa's Supermodel Fashion Show at the Radisson Blue Hotel. Red carpet starts at 4 p.m. If either of you ladies are interested in going to the show, let me know. I do have a few extra tickets. Okay. And I love to invite you to be there. It's a dress up affair. So I'm going to invite you to dress up and come on out and be a part with us. I am so delighted to have you on the show, Roselyne, and we want to have you back. We want to have you back, and and offline we'll be talking to you about some of our disability inclusion projects and see what can happen there as well. Annabelle, you're young people. How many young people is in your group?
Pardon?
How many young people? How many young folk are in the group that you work with?
So I respond to that in so they used to work under me through mentorship are 4, but my group has right now I think we're hitting 500 young people in the WhatsApp group.
Oh, mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was wondering if I could invite some of those young people to the modeling show, but I know I don't have 500 tickets.
But we can actually discuss about it because the young people that
Yeah,
I
let's talk
mentor.
offline and you
Yeah.
select a few of them, and I'd love for you, if you're available Saturday, I'd like for you to
Okay.
bring them. I'd
Yeah, I'll
love for you
show
to
up.
bring them.
I'll
Okay,
come.
we'll talk offline about that. Roselyne,
All
you
right.
have any young people in your life that we need to consider for Saturday?
Yeah, I have amazing young people who I think would definitely benefit from the top model. The concept that you shared with me. Sorry about that. I'm doing a balancing act here with my phone, my
Okay.
laptop refused. Um, yes, I do. I have quite a number, so we can talk offline as
Yeah.
well. Who would
Yes, we
benefit?
will. You know, because I've got a few more and they're getting out of my hands like popcorn. But I wanted to make sure that I remembered you two ladies before all the popcorn is gone.
Thank
This is the
you.
Queen Mother Speak Show, live every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Kenya time, 10 a.m. New York time. I'd like to give a shout out to Coach Ra, who's one of the hosts here on the Queen Mother Speak Show. She is not here today, and we know she's been dealing with some things, so we just want to send her light and love. Raise your hands. Raise your hands with me, and let's just send her some light and love right here, right now.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for that. And now we're going to end the show the way we always do. And we send love into the world because we know that love is the most powerful force of all. So the way we do it, we take our left hand and blow a kiss. We take our right hand and blow a kiss. And then we take both hands and blow a kiss. And we do this together because we want this joint love to go out into the world from the Queen Mother Speak Show. Are you ready?
Ready?
Okay, left hand.
Mm.
Your right hand.
Mm.
All right. Let's give it all up, ladies, to the world. We love you. Thank you for tuning in to the Queen Mother Speak Show. We'll see you again on next week. And on next week, we have a young man who's a Maasai artist, and he's also an activist. We will have the presentation of the Tech Savvy Insights. We'll make sure that we have that report for you. And another young lady by the name of Mary, who spent some 20 years as a woman captured in human trafficking. And she was able to escape.
Wow.
So she'll be able to tell us a little bit of her story. And also she wants to make a plea because she's having some flooding in the area where she's living, and she's going to make a plea for your help. So tune in next week to the Queen Mother Speak Show. We love you. Yes.
Let me say I'd like them to meet me in Due West, South Carolina, November the 4th for a gem and mineral dig. We'll be digging for amethyst, garnet, emeralds, because the wealth often is beneath your feet. And I want to continue to teach young people how Americans, or how people from around the world who were enslaved in America got free and accumulated wealth quickly to purchase land, build churches and other things. And it was because they knew how to find copper, lead, make bronze, use sand to make now even computer chips, but all of the gemstones, and there are 27 gemstones in South Carolina. So I'm in Columbus, Ohio today, but I am returning so that I can continue to teach how to access wealth beneath your feet. And then January 15th for Martin Luther King Day here in America. He was a great person, probably known worldwide. I've accepted to do a gem and mineral exhibit, Wealth Beneath Your Feet, with the Ohio Historical Commission and the Martin Luther King Arts Center in Columbus, Ohio. And that will be January 15th, 2024. Thank you.
Don't we love it? Our ladies are on the move. Let us
Definitely.
know when you're doing things, Roselyne, because we may have somebody there for you to say hello to. And
Yes.
Annabelle, as you're doing things and traveling about in Africa and abroad, because we know it's just a matter of time before you'll be doing that as well, let us know. So we can always let others know who you are, where you are, and what you're doing to make your life and the world work.
Yes.
We love you so much. Nana, thank you for that. I mean, gems underneath my feet. Wow.
And I forgot to say, my daughter's getting married this Saturday.
What?
Congratulations.
Yes.
Wow.
On the 30th of October, her
my.
fiance ship returns. He's in the United States Navy. It comes in on the 27th. They get married Saturday. And believe it or not, the ship goes back out on the 31st. So our prayers are with families of militaries everywhere, because these are trying times. They can't tell you where they're going, when they're coming back, or anything. And so we're really excited. Yep. So I'm going to be calling you up so you can look at the dress and help me pick something to wear and all of that. Because even if you are separated friends by great distances, thank God we have shows like QMS where we can get together weekly, and you can call and video chat on Instagram, Messenger, and other social media platforms. So we want you to take it up, because people are lonely. People are lonely. And mental health is so important around the world. So we thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next week with Queen Mother Speaks. What are you showing us?
All right. Very well. I was just trying to get a few photos.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, everybody. We're going to go ahead and end the stream for today. Yeah. Thank you.
Bye-bye.